We are live. What is going on, guys? It is your boy, Eric of EMFC.
And this is Derek from ADFC,
Against the
the
Lomat,
extension.
the extension, of course. But he will be here in the chat very soon. It is Wrestle Chat Wednesday. Of course, on a Wednesday, the podcast is in its. Trying to remember the number. we're 2 months, almost 3 months into the year already, which is crazy. We're already a quarter of the way almost of the year. Thank God winter's almost done because the storms here in Canada are not wanting to go away. Um, this is the go away week, go away shows for the Elimination Chamber. It feels like it was very quick. At the same time, they have at least been building it. Let's get into a review and show you guys what they've been all about. So, we start with Friday Night SmackDown. When it loads up here, there's a couple random matches mixed with qualifiers, and my computer kind of unfreezes. I'll show you guys what's going on. All right. So the night starts off with Drew taunting Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu from his private suite. He was not supposed to be in the arena. That's why he was kind of teasing them. He was still somehow kicked out. Nothing much going on. They're still like trying to promote this whole triple threat angle. I don't know how they're going to complete it. Maybe we'll talk about it in our predictions, but yeah, that was that. This is a little surprising thing, and I want to hear Derek's opinion on this. Tama Tonga defeats Ilya Dragunov. It is still Tama Tonga and the MFTs that are kind of like interfering and helping him get the wins, but he has been being pushed for the last month. He's being shown as a singles contender, and it was very surprising that he defeats Ilya Dragunov out of all people because recently he's been on a huge winning streak. He was the United States champion and so forth, but that just goes to show you how much confidence they have in Tama Tonga, and I believe even Solo mentioned it that he's going to bring the United States championship home to their bloodline, their family tree. What do you think on that, Derek?
Um, yeah, I think it was a little bit surprising, especially since they're still building Ilya to be, I guess, like a contender for the United States Championship, but they're also really trying to push Tama Tonga as a single star and allow him to really sort of set himself apart from the MFTs while still being within the group. So I'm never mad about using your talent who has proven that they can, win to put over another talent that you're trying to put in that position.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it makes sense. I didn't mind the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely was a little bit surprising. I don't remember. Was there involvement from like the
MFTs?
others?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, at least there was, I guess, that condition as to why it happened and why it made sense. But otherwise, Tomatonga getting the win, I liked it. I think Tomatonga has looked very solid since he's been back. Um, the face paint is still something that's a little bit kind of jarring for me.
Okay.
I think overall, but overall, like his presentation has been like super cool. I'm loving his new finisher. Like I think it's a lot better than what he was using before.
Oh, do you?
Um, I do, I do.
I thought
I
it was
think
like a
it's
neck
like,
breaker type move.
yeah. Was it kind of like the Sister Abigail kind
Kind
of
of.
thing,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
yeah? So I just feel like there are
Yeah, yeah,
too
yeah,
many
yeah, yeah.
people who do that move. So
The biting, of
I
course.
like no one's doing like the even though it is the hidden blade like Will Ospreay's, but no one else is doing that move in WWE right now. And like it's quick, it's sudden, and like if it's done properly, yeah, it's impactful. I like when finishers are the type that kind of can sort of come out of nowhere and like can be brought up in like any situation and doesn't really have a like have you really thinking about like okay like why would this work in a practical situation all the time. So and I would like use like say like the OG cutter as like example, although people have been noting that there was kind of like a an amendment that Javon did on Monday that kind of made that move make a little bit more sense. But yeah, I think that Tama Tonga's run has been cool. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. Honestly, I think that they're priming him for a championship run.
I think so too.
Which I think honestly I wouldn't mind. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty cool.
It might lead to a solo turn because he does go backstage and he talks with Shinsuke Nakamura, which spoke in both English and in Japanese, which was really cool. I'm glad I got to see like that kind of side of him, where he does mention that like, are you going to be your own man, or are you going to let Solo hold you down because Solo might betray you, kind of thing. So should be an interesting thing, but it's a cool dynamic. Oh, of course, the other wrestlers try to help. I forgot, Matt Cardona, Apollo Crews try to save Thing. But they instead receive a message from Uncle Howdy because they still are going to do that whole event with them. I don't know. He has to protect his little lantern. And I think that's what made Tama Tonga think about it, because he's like, you're on duty to protect this lantern and not win the championship yet, which kind of pissed them off. So should be interesting where they lead from there. But I think this is the perfect description, and we're going to bring this up later when we talk about the Elimination Chamber, where they're promoting new wrestlers, both from NXT who are young and like wrestlers that were not utilized currently, to make fresh matchups or fresh like rivalries, which has drawn the ire of some wrestling fans. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't know why they still have Jade Cargill even employed. She just comes out screaming. That's it. She left, and Charlotte Flair like walked by her and kind of like taunted her, and that made Jade Cargill chase her a little bit until the refs had to come out. They had their women's triple threat qualifier, and another huge surprise. And honestly, again, still pushing people freshly out of NXT, new faces. You would think Charlotte Flair would be the one who wins this match. You would think if not, Nia Jax finds a way to literally squash the competition. But Kiana James ends up doing a clever heel maneuver that pins Charlotte Flair after Nia Jax was in the figure 8, as you guys can see in the picture here. And yeah, Kiana James is qualified to the Elimination Chamber, so fresh new face. What do you think on that?
I loved it. Honestly, like Kiana James has been showing out lately. Surprisingly, because honestly, like I watched her in NXT, and but I watched her in NXT, and I felt like honestly, like she was a little bit underwhelming in her role there, and even coming to the main roster, and kind of doing the manager stuff with Julia, I felt didn't really allow her to really show her true potential. But like this match, like I think that, you know, again, like I still feel like when she comes out, like people aren't really engaged, but like she did a lot of stuff in there where people were kind of like, oh whoa, this girl is actually really dope. And like she was getting Kiana chants. Like the fans were chanting for her by the end of the match. So it's a huge opportunity for her. I don't expect her to win. I don't think anyone does, but like I think she's still showing definitely she's definitely kind of started to set herself apart a little bit, which is been really cool to see. And this is kind of like how you start to kind of build those other stars in a way. Like she got a pinfall victory over Charlotte Flair. That's a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
So where they take it from there again is kind of like up to them from a booking perspective, but I thought it was really cool.
And then online, a lot of people were very happy with the results. Another backstage segment, I didn't even see this. Apparently, Jade Cargill talked to, oh my God, Michin and I don't know why this is escaping my mind.
BFAB.
Thank you, BFAB. And they had a conversation, said they're going to chase for the championship. I didn't even know that was a thing. I know they've been injured for a while, but I guess fresh faces, fresh competition in the meantime. Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn had a interesting conversation backstage because people were talking about this online, where Cody Rhodes is a snake. Let's put it out there straightforward. Cody Rhodes has now been doing this secret heel persona. This is me, all me, but I'm still the face, so you have to cheer for me, even though like what I'm doing is wrong, and trying to justify it. That's probably a little bit why Drew's insane right now, because they've been trying to stop the whole bloodline thing. Then he came together with the bloodline. He's a snake. He just pretty much does what's best for him, his best interest to win the championship. And Sami Zayn called him out. He's like, "Hey, I tried to save your back, or try to save you. I got your back, and then you just hit me with a crossroads." As where Cody Rhodes says, "That's why you're not a world champion, because you don't got what it takes," which was a very heelish thing to say. Sami Zayn eventually comes back and apologizes, but it looks like the seeds are being planted, hopefully for a heel turn and maybe that championship run. Please, Kevin Owens, come back and help him. Obafemi and Kit Wilson have a funny little segment where Kit Wilson has presented more poems for Obafemi, which actually kind of like highlighted his career or his character. And after he's like, "I want more," and he didn't have more, so he beat the hell out of him, and it was funny. It was lovely. Of course, we've had this discussion many times where he needs to be doing more besides squash matches. He needs to start building it more, but we'll discuss it because this continues on Raw.
Yes.
Tiffany Stratton, defeats Alba Fire. Everyone was just cheering for the injured Chelsea Green in the outside. She's over like a mother frigger. I understand it's more like a filler match, but like they really need to push Chelsea Green to the moon. And
And this is something that I kind of felt like was going to happen after seeing Unreal and having Michael Hayes essentially, I guess, like bury Chelsea Green, which we will also talk about a
and the
little
sheets,
bit
of
later on.
course.
This is again one of those things where, this could either, depending on how far it goes, because like again, like Chelsea Green is a phenomenal talent. She's been doing really, really great, and um,
But in Raw, of course.
and I think that the typical thing that you'd see with fans is that like once they see that someone from the office has a comment to say like, "Oh, there's a ceiling here," that's like pure underdog vibes, and at that point, that's when you want to cheer for that person.
Exactly.
So whether or not it's like a thing where it's like, "Oh yeah, no, push her, like let's like because she deserves it," versus like, "Oh, we're just cheering for them because we know that you don't want her, and that's why we want her on top." But then, would she be ready for that role if they actually place her there, right? So, but yeah, either way, sweet Chelsea Green chance, love it.
On to the next, as we are still talking about wrestlers that are being showcased. And SmackDown, again, as we were talking about, has been doing very well with this. They have one of the last qualifier matches. I'm pretty sure is the last one for SmackDown. United States Champion Carmelo Hayes is a part of it, but it was a feel good moment because Trick Williams comes out right after him, and the crowd, as they have been, go absolutely ape shit. They go crazy for this guy, trying to whoop that Trick. He is over, even though he is a heel. You can even see the smile off of Carmelo Hayes' face. Who else was part of this match? Damian Priest was also part of the match. It was a pretty fun back and forth match. But at the end, the correct wrestler wins. Trick Williams is pushed to the moon, qualifies after hitting a trick shot. I personally think he needs a new finisher. I feel like the knee isn't as like effective compared to like a let's say a Kenny Omega, but I digress. Rhea Ripley defeats Julia by disqualification. I forgot this match even happened. I think they were just talking ish. But then again, the Irresistible Forces, which is I guess Nia Jax and Lash Legend, come out, and I think they're supposed to fight for the championship next week. And at the end, for some reason, Aleister Black was fighting Randy Orton. It was a decent match. Really, at the end, it was more important because Drew interfered, which made Randy lose the match, which was, again, shocking. Aleister Black defeats Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes comes to kind of attack Drew, but he, like, abandoned Randy in the ring, and he looked back. So I guess more seeds planted for the Elimination Chamber, potential WrestleMania matches, and a potential heel turn in the future. That was SmackDown. And let's go quickly to Raw. Raw is pretty much, as you guys can see here, a tribute to AJ Styles because he's recently retired. And it's hailed from Atlanta, Georgia, which is where he's from. Gainesville, of course, Georgia. Gunther, being the heel he is, comes out, talks his ish. He's like, "Why are you going to celebrate losers? You should be celebrating me." He gets pretty much kicked out of the arena, and Dragon Lee attacks him outside, in the ring, and backstage. After that, to everyone's shock, Cody Rhodes comes out, kind of stares him down, and then he was pretty much going to confront anyone who wants to talk to him. pointless segment because he didn't even say anything. Division come out. They say how they're gonna win the triple threat to qualify or whatever. Then Jay and Jimmy do their whole yeet thing in the crowd, which leads to the match between Jey Uso, Grande Americano, the original one, sorry, and Bronson Reed. A triple threat match, the last qualifier for the Elimination Chamber. And to our shock, because we all expected, of course, Bronson Reed to qualify. Unfortunately, the man decided to do just a casual like breakup of the pin and just tears his bicep right off the bone, destroyed, gets out of the match. They had to pivot. Yay! Jey Uso is now the last man who qualifies. It was kind of shocking at the moment. Crowd was surprised. The wrestlers were surprised. It was like a good 10 minutes before they actually picked up action because they were like trying to see if he was okay. But he's not okay, which we'll talk about in the sheets later. What do you think on the pivot, on everything?
I mean, I'm tired of the Jey Uso discourse online because every time like anything happens with him, like everyone just goes on like WWE and just like throws up the dislikes. Like
Oh yeah,
the hate is getting old. Yeah, oh yeah. Like I think him winning got like 20K dislikes on the WWE channel.
really?
Yeah. So like I don't know, man. And I think at this point, like I think people are just hating just for the sake of hating. Like
Yeah,
this was to me the right call if you're gonna pivot. Like Grande Americano, especially like with his ongoing storyline with the other Grande Americano, like there's really like there's nothing there to kind of incorporate that with the Elimination Chamber stuff, and we already know that Jay's not going to win anyway, so like I don't see any reason as to why people have to go and like hate on the whole thing.
yeah,
Um, but it's unfortunate because like the like division's cursed. Like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like so now you have all three founding members of the division out due to injury. So you know if you want to kind of do like a callback to our flop or not, I think we can officially say that the division is a complete flop. Um, everybody is injured. Like it's just it just hasn't gone their way whatsoever. And it was already kind of a reach to kind of put Bronson Reed in that position, anyways, because it's like it's not like he's generating um enough buzz on his side. Like it was kind of like centered around Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker goes down, and you try to do the pivot with Reed, and now Reed is down for probably the next like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like now you're left with Austin Theory and Logan Paul, and I'm
I was gonna
not
say
building
what's
a stable around those two.
that's terrible. That's what's left.
Yeah,
It's those two
yeah,
guys. Like you're not gonna
yeah.
build anything. They really gotta just blow it up.
No.
Like there's no point.
Like, yeah, at this point, like Logan Paul is already great on his own. He really doesn't need that. And Austin Theory, again, this was kind of like his last chance to really show out. And now all the people that were around him to kind of support him in that venture are now gone. So I don't know what you do with that. I think people online were kind of saying like, "Oh, just put the tag titles on them." Like, I don't want to see them as a tag team. Like, Theory was already a tag team champion. Like, that's not gonna elevate him to the next step.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so like I don't think that like that's the call. I don't really know what you do, but it's kind of unfortunate because like where does that leave? Like Logan Paul will be fine. I'm more so concerned about where does that leave Austin Theory at this point. But
Yeah.
time will tell.
They might do Logan Paul with the Mystery Man if Seth does come back, but like very unfortunate.
Yeah,
This
but like
group is cursed. The Vision is more like a
yeah,
hospital, you know?
and realistically, like we already got Paul versus Rollins at WrestleMania already,
Yeah.
right? So like it's not like that's not really like yeah, I don't and like realistically like it doesn't really make sense anyways because like he wasn't involved in the original kick out in the first place, right? So
Yeah.
at least with Bronson Reed, like he was involved in that, so that kind of made sense. But like Logan Paul was like an outsider from that whole situation, so for him to come back and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna take out like Vision Light," like okay, at this point, like what do you do, right? So they're gonna
Exactly.
have to figure that out.
Throughout the night, they continue with AJ Styles, like little promos and like people saying how amazing he was. Um, Next was Liv Morgan, pretty much choosing who her opponent's gonna be. She came out all sad. And then she just confronts Stephanie Vaquer saying like that what she said like hurt her a lot and she's sorry because she didn't know where she came from and all that such. And that being said, she looks at Jade Cargill, does not choose her, and absolutely smashes Stephanie Vakir with the microphone over the head. Hits her finisher, takes off her jacket, and she raises the championship over her head, solidifying who she has chosen. And I think it's gonna be a sick match. It was pretty straightforward. Even if they don't do a lot of promos like going forward, which they probably will, I think this match is just gonna sell itself on its own. Um, it's just a weird contrast because this was so amazing, and the next segment afterwards was Natty is her name now, versus Maxine Dupree. It was stopped via like DQ, or referee stoppage because Maxine Dupree got like her head smashed against the post and she was like knocked out, whatever. Dead silent on the air, by the way. Super quiet, no pop, no nothing. People really don't give a damn about this. Online was even worse. People were roasting it. No one wants to watch it. I wanted to skip it. And when I was watching replays because my family was watching it afterwards, I skipped it. So, you know,
I literally went downstairs to get my dinner, and when I came back upstairs, it was already over. And I was like, "What the hell happened?" And I saw it. I was just like, okay, like I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm never opposed to have a referee stoppage stipulations as long as it's done well. The way that Maxine hit the ring post was so light and so like not good that like I just like saw it and I was just like, okay,
you know what's
all right,
sad?
cool, let's just move on.
Because Maxine Dupree was being elevated into stardom right now. She won the championship. People are behind her and stuff. I think that's gone. That push is over. I don't think people care anymore. I truly don't care anymore. Like if she were to be gone off the show, I wouldn't notice or care, which is very sad. Backstage, which we were talking about Obafemi, they showed the box one more time. Like what is in this box? Because neither general managers want to open it. They said they're going to open it together at Elimination Chamber, which we'll talk about later. Rusev comes out. He says he wants his opportunities in the future. That's when Obafemi comes out saying that he wants to fight him, pretty much. And I think this is on the right track because he needs to fight bigger characters. And I mean it, I guess, physically and, character wise. I think this is a good matchup. Maybe like on a Raw or like moving forward or whatever. Especially with what we're going to talk about very soon. I think this is a good match that'll help elevate Oba a little bit more, especially if it's not a squash, a little bit more back and forth. But yeah, good segment for both of them. There was also like a promo with Trick Williams, but that was not aired. Very, very good. Again, crowd behind him. He was also on like a talk show. And yeah, that even is pretty much trending online too. So good for Trick Williams. He seems to be a bright star in the future. Brock Lesnar was the little surprise that we were talking about. Arrives. And even to his shock, Paul Heyman mentions the streak being over. They said there was 2 main events at WrestleMania. It was the championship match, and it was the match The Undertaker was in for the streak. And now that The Undertaker's streak was ended by Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar is that new guy at WrestleMania that someone has to step up. They showcase his next appearances. It was like 5 or 6, kind of like the John Cena's last time is now. And they said anybody, it's an open challenge. Anybody man enough backstage to confront him, go ahead. If they're not going to go with the LA Knight feud, I think this is the perfect opportunity for Obafemi. The way I was describing to Seba, if Obafemi little by little beats up like more important wrestlers along the way, kind of like with Rusev, he could be the last person on the last week to confront Brock Lesnar and say, I'm the next big thing. I want to fight you. I think it'd be the perfect opportunity. And in that meantime, every week, maybe someone should come out to be like, I'm the next guy. Let's say like someone said like Kit Wilson. He comes out, says a poem to Brock Lesnar. It's like, I'm the one who wants to fight you. Gets, slapped. I think that'd be pretty cool too. Make it a little bit more fun. Because if not, just to be Paul Heyman talking every week, and there's no point, right? So, what do you think?
See, like, so one, like, I think someone said that like Brock Lesnar's appearance literally could have been an email because I didn't get anything from this. Like, a lot of what they did on Monday night to me was just sort of like not necessary or redundant. It was very evident that like I guess content wise, they didn't really have much going on, and Like, I like the production stuff with AJ Styles' career outlining and stuff like that. But like, if you're like, I felt like this show was built more like how they wanted to do Cena's retirement show, where it was just more so focused on this is his career without actually doing anything of like substance. And then Cena was just like, no, let's like actually have good matches and do stuff here. And they
Yeah.
did have the qualifiers, so like that was a thing. But outside of that, like a lot of the promos that were on Raw were not necessary. Like Lesnar's promo wasn't necessary. CM Punk's promo was not necessary, especially since Finn was there. Like this was the go home show. You could have did something to kind of really build this match, but Punk was more so talking about Roman than he
Yeah.
was about his match at Elimination Chamber, which I thought was dumb.
Mhm.
Um, but
Yeah, you're
what
right.
I
I
did
didn't take that
like,
in.
yeah, I took it in. I was just kind of like, what?
You're supposed to be promoting the
Why do
match.
we
It's
do
supposed to
this?
be in like 5 nights from now. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I did like about the Brock Lesnar promo though is that I feel like any rumors that they had to dispel the idea of Lesnar like randomly just jumping into the Elimination Chamber and just like taking out LA Knight to kind of start a feud, it can kind of be put to rest because at the very least it seems as though Lesnar's stance is like I'm the guy who wants to take me on, so it doesn't really seem like he's going to be in Predator mode. I think it's just going to be like who wants to make a name off of trying to face me at WrestleMania. So I like your point of like having guys come out week after week to try to see if they are the one that could like face him, and then kind of leading up towards like somebody like Obafemi. Again, my fingers are crossed that since they didn't tease any involvement in the Elimination Chamber, that like we are potentially gonna get Oba versus Lesnar. But again, I'm holding my breath because um well I hope they make that decision. I don't know if they will, but I hope they do. But that's like the one thing that I took away from that promo segment that I was like, all right, cool. Well, at least like they're just saying like, hey, Brock's here. Basically every Raw until WrestleMania. Who wants to step up? Here you go.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll take that's like my only takeaway from that segment. But otherwise, like at least F5 somebody for no reason.
Yeah. So the next, well, there was a backstage segment between Javon Evans, the New Day, and it was Offset, which was pretty cool. They had a lot of celebrities in the crowd because it was in Atlanta, so it was nice to kind of like showcase that as well. At the end, Javon Evans faces against Kofi Kingston, beats Kofi Kingston in a really entertaining match. I feel like Kofi Kingston was trying to showcase his athletic abilities too, and honestly, it's what Raw and WWE in general has been needing, where they need to elevate the young talent with like these veterans, and Kofi Kingston puts the young lad over. Very sick match. Um, and you already talked about CM Punk. There was backstage segments between Judgment Day where Finn kind of apologized to JD McDonough, saying that like we're brothers, we'll always be brothers, but I still have to do this by myself. And then Dominic Mysterio comes in pretty much complaining, saying like you guys are not on the same page. You may need to fight by yourself, but I need assistance. And that's when pretty much Finn was like, stop being a bitch, be a man, and fight by yourself, and walked away. So that's probably going to be a huge breakup right there soon.
I
Uh,
hope.
but Raquel Rodriguez defeats Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Also, very entertaining triple threat match. And that's the last qualifier for the Elimination Chamber. At the end, AJ Styles explains his retirement a little bit. He leaves his gloves and uniform at home. He assures everyone he has his word. He likes to thank his wife, Wendy, and his children for a long, I guess, journey because he was always on the road and he wants to be a full time father now. So the whole crowd goes out. Sorry, everyone backstage goes out. They congratulate him. And to everyone's shock, The Undertaker comes out and he officially announces, well, one, that he's the official spokesperson of the WWE Hall of Fame. And two, that AJ Styles is a part of the WWE Hall of Fame, which AJ Styles was very shocked and very happy. He literally pushed
Yeah.
his wife out of the way to celebrate with the crowd. And yeah, worth it. Very worthy.
Yeah, no, I love that segment. And again, I think people were going online and they were like saying that like they felt like the tribute wasn't enough. Honestly, for me, I thought they did a great job of paying tribute to him that night. Honestly, for me, what I would have loved, And I don't know if it would have hit, but like they had a whole lot of backstages of people who had came, like the like
Oh,
Giles
thank you.
and
Forgot about
Anderson
that.
were there. Omos was there.
Oh my god.
Kazarian and Abyss was there.
Yeah, which is shocking to me.
A
I mentioned.
lot of people, yeah, which again, a lot of people from AJ Styles' past. Like, I would have loved to have seen like kind of like sort of like what they did in New Japan with uh Tanahashi's retirement, where they had people kind of coming out like one by one to sort of like have like their little time with him in the ring and stuff like that, and just kind of see that interaction on TV. I think it would be really cool if Abyss's music hit and Abyss came out like on his once and kind of like went to AJ and stuff like that, or the Good Brothers and stuff like that. So like kind of like AJ kind of like doing his promo, I loved. Taker surprising him and kind of teasing that he was gonna have a match with him and be like, "Wait, what the hell's going on here?" um, but then to induct him into the Hall of Fame, I thought was awesome. It definitely got me choked up for sure
Yeah.
because like I wasn't expecting that at all. Like it definitely like an induction was definitely in the cards for sure. I just didn't expect it to happen
So soon.
right now. Um, but and there's probably some business slash political reasons as to why they decided to do it that way. Um, which I might as well talk about it now. There is like stuff in the sheets that was suggesting, and not really in the sheets. I think it's pretty common knowledge that like considering that AJ's in-ring work with WWE was done, there would be other promotions that were heavily scouting him. A lot of guys from AEW have been mentioning that they want to see AJ over there and kind of see him do some stuff over there. Um, and it is probably was talked about that AEW did extend like a pretty generous offer to have him wrestle there and still be able to be at home and kind of be the full-time father that he was. And with WWE deciding that they're going to induct him into the Hall of Fame, he probably had to sign some sort of contract, or probably will have to sign some sort of contract to kind of lock him with WWE for the foreseeable future. So that's I think AEW run that people are kind of hoping for is probably not going to be a thing. So that's probably why they were like, we need to lock this down now, as opposed to like letting him just sort of just wrap it up and like let him do whatever until we decide to give him the induction ceremony at a later date.
I think it was Gallows or
Um,
Anderson. Apparently, they have also mentioned that AJ Styles talked to them, saying that he's having a lot of issues with his neck, so he may not be around much longer when it came to wrestling, regardless, because
mhm.
his body was taking a toll, which would make sense as well.
Yeah,
Why he would
absolutely,
want to retire.
absolutely.
But yeah,
He's 48, so
pretty
yeah.
48. Holy smokes, doesn't even look like it.
Hmm.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yep.
SmackDown and Raw, they did what they had to do, which brings us to Chicago at the Elimination Chamber. Well, we could do our predictions and we could talk about it. Are they gonna? What is this? Okay, they do have a preview here. I forgot the AJ Lee match was gonna happen. They kind of promoted backstage too. So was it 4 matches? Apparently in Belgium or Germany, they're calling it No Escape, which is kind of cool. It's almost like a preview to like No Way Out. There, Derek. You're there. Are you freezing? Hello.
I'm here. Yeah, sorry.
Can you hear me though?
In and out, but I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're calling it No Escape, which is like similar to No Way Out. I say we bring it back. It makes sense. Just having elimination chamber and then not having all the matches in the chamber doesn't make sense. Anyway, all right. We can do our predictions quickly if you want. There's
Yeah.
only 4 matches on here. Start recording. All right. Like predictions. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. CM Punk wins.
Oh my goodness. Hold on.
You lagging?
I am lagging, but it's because I had like a virus scan
Oh, okay.
background, so I think that was what's causing me to lag. So I just canceled that. I'll do that later. All right, cool. So yeah, what are you predicting? I'm here now.
Okay, sorry. I'll go again. So predictions. This is a no-brainer. This is CM Punk.
Okay, yeah, CM Punk.
Yeah, that's just too easy in Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
AJ Lee. Is it for the Intercontinental Championship? I thought that was a #1 contendership match.
No, it's for the Intercontinental Championship. Like AJ Lee was just kind of like, oh, if I beat you, then that would make me a number one contender. Then like they were kind of going back and forth, and um, Becky basically said like, okay, fine, like I'll give you a title match, just so to prove to you that I'm better than you, whatever, whatever. So it is for the title.
Okay. This is gonna be hard, but I'm gonna throw a random one out there. It's gonna be AJ Lee, I think. They might just throw us a little random one there.
Mm. I think AJ is going to win, and I think they're going to run it back at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's literally what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
See, that's why it would have made sense as number one contender or not, but I guess maybe they're doing hot potato with the title.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I feel like if they do run it back at WrestleMania, I think Becky Lynch will get her look back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why they probably want to give AJ like a title run. Albeit it'll probably be a short one. But then Becky goes over in the end and kind of adds her legacy.
Okay. I might change my mind after SmackDown, but I think it's going to be Cody Rhodes. Sorry, this is the chamber, by the way. The men's chamber.
Yeah. I'm still, and I think a lot of people on the internet are now picking up steam on the idea that it's going to be a super multi-man match for the WWE Championship at Mania. So like I think it would make sense it was Cody, but if my prediction for Randy being involved in that match is there, I say that Randy wins and Cody finds his way into the match at some point. Eric just like up and left me. I guess so. Oh, he's back now.
I'm still here. Cool. I'm still listening to predictions. Sorry, guys. I was a little bit sick this week, so I need a lot of water. That's why I'm like muting myself a lot before I lose my voice. Yeah. Honestly, if we're gonna do like explain the whole thing, it would make sense that Randy would win, and then Cody Rhodes finds his way, and probably like Jacob Fatu, because it's gonna be like a fatal four-way match at WrestleMania for the WWE title. I just safely said Cody Rhodes, of course. All right, on to the last match of the night. The Women's Elimination Chamber. Oh, brother.
oh, this one's going to be...
This is a challenging one, but I think Tiffy wins it so she can get her revenge against Jade Cargill.
Oh. Yeah, I'm looking at who's involved here. Oh.
We'll explain it after, but
Yeah, so...
I got
this is hard for me,
ladies and gentlemen,
because so like the way that they've been teasing Charlotte and Jade makes me feel like that's something that they're going to run up at some point, and I feel like it would make sense if it was at Mania, but they didn't put her in the chamber, and I feel like the breakup between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss is probably going to lead up to Mania, so I guess that would make sense. I feel that Rhea and Io are kind of preoccupied. I don't think they'll face each other, but I just don't. Asuka, I don't see it being Asuka. I don't see it being Raquel. I don't see it being Kiana. I guess Tiffany Stratton would be
the only option.
Choice that makes sense. Yeah, because they never really had the rematch, but I feel like it's such a roundabout way to kind of get to a match that we knew was already coming. But at the same time, yeah, it's probably going to be Tiffany.
Okay. That's our
predictions.
Probably
going to be Tiffany, yeah.
Stop recording for the predictions. We're going to go into details in every match. Yeah, this one's very challenging. In the sense that, like, I feel like Jade has not been connecting with any of these women at all. The only one that would make sense is Tiffy, because she fought for the championship. Sorry, she lost her championship to Jade Cargill, and that's because she was injured or whatever. But yeah, I think they've been destined to run this back. It's a little boring because I feel like even if Cody Rhodes wins the Elimination Chamber, if we're also talking about the men's, it's gonna be the same thing. We've seen the match 20 times. This would be, I think, their fourth match altogether. There goes my voice. So I'm like, it just makes the most sense. It sucks, but it is what it is. The only other person I would want to see there is Raquel Rodriguez. Of course, like a Rhea Ripley would have been great, but like, that's not happening. She's a tag team champion right now. So yeah, Raquel would be cool because I've been a fresh face. But of all people, it's Tiffy. Same with the men's. As you were saying, Cody Rhodes would make the most sense. I don't know if you want to talk about the Becky Lynch match a little bit more, but I think you already mentioned that it's going to be a best 2 out of 3 almost. So most
Yeah,
likely
yeah,
AJ Lee will win the championship this time. She's in her hometown. Makes sense. And CM Punk is also pretty straightforward. Poor Finn.
yeah,
Just like once again, right wrestler, wrong moment.
yeah. Like I want Finn to win so badly, but I feel and I hope that like Finn loses because Judgment Day screw him.
Yes, that's
Like
another
I
thing I want to
want
say.
them. Yeah, I want them to actually start that ball rolling.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've done enough on screen recently. I think they've done enough on screen altogether because this is like like a 5 year story at this point.
yeah,
But I feel that with JD just coming back, and like that little dig at Dominic, I feel like it's like okay, cool. This is the start of something. Like I could see it being a situation where like they accidentally cost him, which is where I feel like they'll go. But I want it to be deliberate. I want them to be like, yeah, F you, and just kick him out.
yeah. I think it's gonna happen, and I think that's what's gonna set up their Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania. Which
Yeah,
is perfect. It's
yeah.
perfect timing. It's what they want had in general. That's what we want. A face Finn, they gonna be lit. And that is Elimination Chamber. Alrighty. I don't know why everything's deciding to glitch again, but all right, Derek. Now we did our predictions pretty quick.
Hmm.
How are we feeling? What do you want to do? Want to get into the sheets while I go get
Yeah,
my.
let's get in. Let's get into the sheets.
Alrighty, let's do this. Where's the sheets? Let's get lost in the sheets. And here we are. We're on Matt's dirt sheets without Matt. He's not even in the chat. So I guess Derek, take this over. I'm just gonna get Halls quick.
Okay, well, welcome to uh Derek's clean sheets, where we only use the freshest of bound sheets and Tide to get all the stains out. Make sure that the sheets aren't dirty. Let's first talk about something that I had forgotten to mention in regards to Elimination Chamber, which is another ongoing story that WWE has been putting out over the last couple of weeks, and that is the box storyline, in which the random crate has shown up to both Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. It says on the crate that it cannot be opened until February 28th, which is Elimination Chamber. Um, Adam Pearce has said that him and Nick Aldis are going to open the crate together. And obviously, there's been a lot of speculation as to what could be inside the crate. The way that it's being handled at this point, I absolutely think it's just going to be like a very stupid, jokey thing. Like, I really do think Danhausen's going to like pop out of this crate, and
Incredible.
like I don't need to see Danhausen in WWE. I'm sorry. Like he's funny. He's a very funny character, and if I will only allow it if Danhausen pops out of the crate and he says that he cursed Division and that's the reason why they're all injured, because that would be hilarious. And I'd be at that point I'd be like, all right, cool, you have saved this group from from like burning because he got cursed. That's why they sucked. It's because they got cursed by Danhausen. That was it. And then you can set up a Danhausen versus Austin Theory match at WrestleMania. Bam, book it. Um, there we go with that. Bully Ray has criticized Jey Uso for seemingly being sad after the Raw Elimination Chamber match and felt that like he can't like he has to basically no sell and basically work as a professional, and kind of having like there was like clear moments where Jay kind of like seemed dejected and was like kind of like concerned about Bronson Reed,
Yeah.
which Bully Ray was said it was like a huge no-no. You can't do that. Yada 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 yada. So a little bit of criticism there, and I can agree with Bully Ray in that respect. I understand, coming from a old school mindset, especially for the show. Like you don't want to make it seem that it's like something that bothers you, but at the same time, Jey Uso looks out for his boys, and it's shitty. Like honestly, like the timing could not be any worse. It's never the right time to get injured, but especially like leading up to WrestleMania, and Bronson Reed coming back from like a pretty shitty injury already, and now he's going to be on the shelf again. Definitely sucks.
Yeah.
What else do we have to say? We already mentioned that Carl Anderson mentioned that AJ Styles' body has been backed up, and so his retirement was kind of justified and sort of needed. Um,
So it was
let's see
about
what else
time.
we got. Um,
You're missing the big one, eh? Vincent Kennedy McMahon
oh yeah.
potentially
Well,
wants to, with Saudi Arabia investors, rebuy WWE. He finally did his whole thing in court. And what was the option? Was there a possibility that I forgot what it was, like almost like a settlement, like if he does something for a year?
it's yeah, well honestly like this is very much grain of salt stuff. Like I don't know if this is actually confirmed stuff or not. We've seen a couple of people kind of report on it, but there hasn't been like a lot of stuff gaining traction. And I honestly feel like in a case like this, it's not as simple as just being like, all right, cool, you're free to go, like whatever, whatever. But the sheets and I guess a lot of dirt sheets have been kind of popping up with the idea that Vince might be like well has to do like a year of like I guess like it's like a sensitivity training or whatever and then it'd be good to go. So the rumors have been going that he wants to like him and Saudi Arabia can strike a deal to buy back WWE and make it private company. Which again, like I wouldn't put too much stock into this until we actually get some official news from like some actual news outlets, or probably an official statement from either Janelle Grant or Vince in regards to where it is. As far as I'm concerned, like I think the case is still ongoing. I guess people can dream. It's very funny because I think that the overall discourse over the internet is very different than it was when Vince was first like pretty much accused of doing the horrible things that he's been doing over the last like how many years. And I think just well, like a lot of wrestling fans are just like so fed up with the product that they're just like, oh, like we don't care, we just want Vince back, kind of thing. Which
I
I
know.
think also kind of speaks to a lot of character in regards to a number of people, but that's a separate thing for a separate time, I guess. But yeah, that is an ongoing rumor that is like making the rounds. But personally, for me, I don't really see it being something that'll stand. But I guess we will see. I guess if that actually is a thing.
He does come back, that pop is gonna be
Um,
huge. Which is crazy.
it would be interesting to say the least. What else do we have?
We already talked about the injury for Bronson Reed, how they are not
Oh
division El
yes,
Hospital. Um,
yes.
what else?
Um, Nothing crazy else in the sheets. Oh, I guess Michael Hayes, I did talk about this before, appeared on the Undertaker's
Podcast.
podcast.
Uh,
And the Chelsea Green topic was brought up, which Michael Hayes said that like what his words and comments were taken out of context. Because he originally did put over Chelsea Green and said that like she is a phenomenal talent and she has the potential of being a top star, but like that's just not her role right now. But like that part was cut out because they want to make him the heel in the situation. But he also stated that he doesn't regret what he said because it is the truth, and he feels that like right now, like her role is making other people look good and putting other people over. But then also said that if the fire is put on her and people support her and like she gets herself into that like position, like we have no problem putting her and making her into like one of the biggest stars of the company. Undertaker then also states afterwards that he is very high on Chelsea Green and thinks that she has everything that she needs to have that it factor, become one of the biggest stars in the company. Um, so a lot of praise from Undertaker, and Michael Hayes just sort of I guess rectifying what comments were made on the show. Um, what else do we have here? Don't have much else. There's not really a lot of stuff going on in the sheets right now.
I know. It's more so like, I mean, everything that was kind of potentially in the sheets were like happening throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, again, it is, forgot to mention this. It is the Go home show on SmackDown. So the one before the pay per view. The pay per view is going to
Mm-hmm.
happen, which is going to be huge because that's going to be pretty much finalizing what majority of WrestleMania is going to be. And the next couple of weeks will be pushing towards the whole event, right? Next week's Raw apparently is going to be action packed. I think there's going to be a couple of championship matches along the way. Roman Reigns is also coming back. So the needle will be moved, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
I want to see if I can find the preview quickly. Next week on Raw. See if I can find it. I'll go back to the weekly recap. Next week Raw. All right. Next week on Raw, Roman Reigns advertised to return to the show. Dominic Mysterio will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Penta with Judgment Day on his side. We'll see how that goes because that's maybe when Finn will turn. Who knows? Dragon Lee will finally face Gunther, which will lead to Rey Mysterio appearing for a WrestleMania match. Obafemi and Rusev was teased, but it's not official yet. So yeah, I think just those matches in general are going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. We will be there as we are on the full road to WrestleMania at this point. No other distractions. No Saturday night's main event, I think.
Thank God.
Yeah. So just straight gas.
Oh gosh, no breaks with it, eh?
Yes, sir.
Should we get into the salt? You have opinions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it was a grain of salt. I love your segment. I wish I made that song a little bit longer like before, but copyright always likes to get us. Anyway, Derek, your grain of salt.
My great assaults. So I feel like with the ongoing lack of sales for WrestleMania and the blocking of watch parties in areas that are showing
Yeah, we
pay-per-views.
didn't talk about that.
I think that WWE has implemented a very simple strategy as of late in regards to how they're kind of pricing fans out, where they seem to be weeding out the annoying ones. Let me explain. So I feel like the ones that are taking to Twitter, the ones that are part of the IWC, the ones that are disliking Jey Uso's win, it's not reflective on the live crowds because the live crowds seem to be super, super into these guys. And you don't really see it as much. Like, as much Cody discourse as you get, like, a lot of the fans are still very much like cheering him and there's barely any boos. And I've come to realize that, like, when you have priced out a good chunk of your loyal fan base, all you're left with are a bunch of people who, again, may be casual viewers or may just have like the income to be able to go and take their family to shows that they may not be super familiar with, so they're just having a good time. But it's kind of like more of like a live event feel in a sense where yeah, like you just have people who are just there to have fun and enjoy what they're taking in as opposed to kind of being overly critical um of the product that they're getting inside the ring.
What
And
you're
I
saying is
think
the nerds
that
are staying home.
yes. But I think that's a double-edged sword because
Yeah.
those nerds are now representing a good chunk of the people who are not able to come to the shows to sell at your buildings anymore because like you're making things too expensive.
Yeah.
And I think that it also hurts the product in a way where you don't get like reactions like you should in crucial points. Like for me, watching the AJ Styles send off on Monday, loved the send off, but like I felt like the crowd wasn't really in it.
Yeah.
And like that's their guy, right?
Yeah.
He's from Atlanta, Georgia. And yet it seemed as though like they just were like not really aware of who AJ was. Like the chance did start to build as like he was there for a little bit longer,
Yeah.
but it was just like very it didn't feel as like huge as it should have because it just felt like the crowd wasn't really in it. And I think that's where the
Issue lies.
fans who yeah, and I think that's where it kind of like it kind of hits.
Hmm.
um I, for one, don't agree with the strategy that WWE is implementing in regards to how they're booking, well, not necessarily booking their shows, but how they're pricing their shows.
Yeah.
Like, I think it definitely should be something that is open for everyone. And I think that although WWE's stance is like, we're going to go with what the crowd wants, and if the live crowd is saying that this is what it is, and this is what works, then that's what we're going to go with
Yeah.
because that doesn't reflect your full fan base. And I think that you need to be able to reflect the full fan base with everything that you do. You can't just like put on blinders and
This is
be
what we
like,
do.
well, the live crowd loves it, so like, this is what we do, kind of thing. Because it's a very skewed. Like, yeah, it looks great for TV, but it's a skewed opinion.
Yeah.
Like, would it have worked back in the day when like Roman was getting booed out of the building and you were only getting people that were like, "Oh yeah, this is the good guy. We're gonna cheer for him." Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, like it also forced him to have to adjust and turn into the character that we got today, right?
Yeah.
So, I honestly feel that like again, and also just because I want shows to be more affordable so I can go to them, even though I was at the last Monday Night Raw. But like I just think that TKO is not going to stop in the strategy because especially with this, it's not like they're going to look at like this year and be like, oh well, this sucked. Like we'll just go back to normal. It's definitely going to be a long term thing, and I think that they expect that there's going to be some turbulence, but overall, like if they're still hitting their gates, if the analytics are still there, and you see Cody's podcast, like they're always talking about the analytics and say like, oh yeah, we're making a lot more money now than we were, how many years ago, even though the stories kind of felt a little bit better, maybe however many years ago, like they're making their money. So something is working, and if something is working, they're not going to fix it, right?
Yeah.
I don't really see that being something that changes in the near future unless like something changes overall with ownership. But yeah, I feel that um um yeah, it's just it's a kind of an interesting dynamic, and I don't know. I feel like in some ways it works, but I think it also takes away from having like really really cool moments. Like I felt like although Monday was cool, like I felt like it could have been a lot cooler if we had a lot more passionate fans that were there,
Cooler than
as
Frieza.
opposed to like just yeah yeah
Got him there.
exactly like Frieza.
I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna last that long. They already tried to discount WrestleMania tickets by 25%. They still didn't budge. People still are not accepting that. And honestly, that's on them. That's their fault for raising the prices so much. Another thing that I wanted to mention that you brought up, and that was regarding leaving the wrestling nerds home. Who's gonna buy all those WWE championships replicas that are like $500, $600 over there? Who's gonna buy all those shirts? It's definitely not gonna be the casuals. It's those damn internet nerds that want to come in and buy that stuff. That's more money that they're missing too. So it's
That's true, but
not only the cheers, but like just little by little, like these things will start affecting. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but you did give pretty good points and opinions on it.
yeah, I think especially when it comes to the world of business, like especially when it comes to these big CEOs, like they don't care. They don't care about
CEO.
you know they
CEO.
only care about is making
CEO.
sure that they can make their money, and like the money is a reflection of whether or not the business model is successful. Right now they're making money, so
Yeah.
I think to them, who
You don't
cares,
really care?
so
Yeah. That's why the Vince movement's happening in the first place, even though we've mentioned, his Gun Cena and of course his horrific booking and sometimes his horrific personality
yes.
and
And let's like
character.
let's
But
not glorify Vince. Like yeah, well, like people are saying like bring Vince back as if like 2019 was not a terrible year, and like his last years there were not good. Like
no, not at all.
we were desperately looking for a change, and we got it. And I think again, like I think fans are just like they just want they want to be able to book the shows. They want to be able to dictate what happens, and um,
They had to shut
that's
up and enjoy the ride The Rock takes him on, bro. Even though he's not here anymore.
exactly, exactly.
All right, is that all you have for the grain of salt?
Yeah, pretty much.
All
Also, the
right,
vision is cursed. You know,
flop or not then. Welcome to flop or not. All right, the first thing I was gonna do is the vision, but that's already taken. We already
yeah,
talked about it. But if you
it's a
want to really
flop.
talk about it, it's a super flop. Unfortunately, they're too injury prone. Well, not even injury prone. Like, it's just unexpected that everyone was gonna get injured. Seth was the main person. Then they pivot at the end to go to Braun Breaker as the leader, which really, really, really slowed Bronson Reed's push down. He was the tribal thief. He was being elevated, and they just became like a second background character. Um, Braun Breaker injures himself for months, which leaves, I guess, Bronson Reed a bit of like a lead that he can do something on his own. Also gets injured, and just like these are like regular stuff. Like Braun Breaker tried to flip a table. Bronson Reed tried to break up a pin, and they're out 4 to 6 months, right? So it's just very unfortunate that these things are happening, but there is no way. Well, not right now. Austin Theory did have all this potential, but there's no way in hell that Austin Theory can do anything to elevate this group anymore. Logan Paul's just there because obviously he's a little bit more famous, but besides that, like, we're not gonna want to care about the Vision anymore. Now I feel like if Paul Heyman comes out with them, it's just like, why are these guys on my screen?
I
Very
was already
unfortunate.
at that point with Bronson Reed taking the lead. Like I
Yeah,
just like
yeah, no,
Braun
100%.
Breaker. Yeah, Braun Breaker being out of there really kind of hurt them a lot, and it was already kind of like it was already like a thin thread, and then like it was just completely cut with Bronson Reed's injury.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to go from here,
You think they'll continue the group?
realistically, but
You think they keep the group together until the others come back?
I think they will because I don't think Triple H likes letting things go.
This is what we do.
So
This is what he does, man. It's a new
yeah.
era every week.
But like, who can you add to that group that'll make it like something to talk about? And it's like,
Me.
I guess ideally you would,
Ideally, you said it,
like,
bro. Get me in there.
like, I guess there was like talks back in it, like when Brock Lesnar came back. I was like, oh, they have like a common person together, so put Brock in a group. But Brock's not going to be there for very long, so like that doesn't really do anything for them. There
Yeah.
really isn't really anybody there that I would put in there that would be like, oh, like this is big, unless you throw like Obafemi in there. But like, I don't think Obafemi fits that mold at all. And again, it's just like, what? It's just temporary until these guys come back. I don't know. I feel like you're pulling at straws, and like you're coming up short every single time. Let's just do something else.
I like what they
What
were
that
gonna
else
try to
is, I don't
do.
know.
I like what they were trying to do and like have like an evolution kind of thing and bring
Yeah.
these young talents up. But the vision wasn't 2020, bro. They were blind. They were coming in like glasses off, bro. And that's how it came to be. It's very unfortunate, but like I was over this group a long time ago. Bronson Reed needs, like as I mentioned before, it needs to be the gigantic monster, like the Big Show or like a Kane that comes out, destroys people, and it has to be scary. You know what I mean? He was doing
Hmm.
great on his own, excuse me. And Braun Breaker was doing great on his own as well. He was a young, up and coming talent who already won the Intercontinental title. Then wants the big thing. So, alrighty, who else can we flop or not here? I had a couple of people. I was gonna say Jade Cargill. Do you think she's a flop or not? Now, not this title reign, her entire career in WWE now.
No, I think she's not. I think that she still I think she still generates a lot of interest. I just don't like the way that they've been booking her. That's all. I think that especially just like in regards to her championship, and I don't think it's really her fault. It's just I think the people that she was going to work with all went down, right? Like Naomi's pregnant, Bianca Belair is still injured after like a year. And I think that was like what their main plan was. And I think her feud with Bianca was going to be kind of what put her into the next step. But like, she still generates a lot of attention and a lot of interest to herself. Again, I think people online are just too critical about her. like they pin the way that she's booked and make it seem like it's her fault when realistically, like, she's not the one that makes that decision, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, but I do want to see her paired up with more top stars so that we can build her more, because like she's just been floundering about, but like when she's out there, like people are engaged, people pop when her music plays and stuff like that. Like
You gonna pop your neck?
I think she's but yeah, like
Team first.
I wouldn't consider her to be a flop. I think that they do need to do better in showcasing her in ring stuff more. But yeah, I don't think she's a flop.
Okay. I'm gonna be like on in between. I was looking more towards the flop than the not. Obviously, she had her whole thing with Bianca Belair and the tag team titles, but I was thinking that that would help her like train enough to become a better wrestler, like technical wise, and make these matches more important or make them more entertaining. But I feel like she hasn't changed. Personally, I feel like everything she's done in AEW to now, like maybe she improved a little, but she's still like very sluggish, very like one dimensional in a way. So like her character wise, like obviously she's at top of the world right now. I feel like she should have won the title like a lot longer, but right now the reign has been pretty boring, and I think it just became more apparent when she fought against Jordan Grace that I'm like, oh, she's not the best in the ring right now. She needs someone else to like help elevate her, be more technical in there. So
Yeah, she needs Charlotte.
I know, or maybe it's iffy time, but we'll see how that ends up going. Do you have any flop or nots for me?
Hmm. Let's see. Let me look through the roster. Um,
The mother freaking tease, maybe.
how do you feel about the MFTs? I like them. I
I
like
like
them.
him. I think Solo's the type of character that like him being like the Godfather. I think it's great.
Hmm.
I just think they need to do more with him specifically. He needs to be competing for the world championship. The U.S. title reign was cool. It was kind of short, but I like what they're doing with the Open Challenge U.S. title now. I think he should be the one also competing for the world title, and something like him being cemented with the world championship would have helped a lot, or the WWE title. Maybe fighting the Cody Rhodes, the Drews, and Randy Orton's or whatnot. Um, Now I'm glad that the others are getting their showcased. So like they're getting the tag titles, they're getting the US challenges or whatever, right? But yeah, I think just what's missing is Solo itself to develop character. But I like the group.
Hmm.
The face paint changed it for me a little bit because I'm like, okay, at least they're trying something different. Eventually they'll drop it, but it is what it is. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I like where they're at right now. Honestly, I like the fact that they are being showcased, and the fact that they're still on TV doing something. I think that there's just been more emphasis on Tamatanga and a bit of Solo. Otherwise, I don't know. I feel like Tangaloa is still kind of just in the background.
Yeah.
JC Mateo, like again, Jeff Cobb was a monster in New Japan, and he's kind of just been in the background as well too. So, and even Tonga Haya or whatever the I don't even know what
Tanga
his
Tala.
actual like ring name is. Yeah. Like again, I feel like they kind of showcased him a little bit during the Wyatt feud, but he's kind of just been there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would want to see a little bit more from all of them. But overall, I still like the group. I think that to go from where they were after the Bloodline Civil War stuff, to where they are now, like they're still a pretty important piece of SmackDown. So I think that they're in a very good spot.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, before we close it out, let's talk about 2K, because I don't know if you've seen like some of the stuff that they've done, but I'm not gonna
I've
lie to you,
seen
I'm getting that itch.
I've seen a
I'm getting
few.
that
I know.
itch.
I'm looking forward to it. It's been a couple weeks away. I saw the thumbtacks and how you can do that, the different items, different matchup types. I saw the I Quit match and how that works. I haven't seen that many clips. I'm gonna watch more now, but I'm glad to see what they're doing. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun, even with Universe Bowl, where you can like fast forward a match and tell them to cut it, to take his home brother button that ends the match as soon as possible, so you can move on to the next in the night. Very
Yeah.
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, they also have like post-match interviews in WWE Universe mode now. Um, so like you can start, I guess, feuds coming out of that. So I found like again like a lot of like the small things that I would nitpick about, they have added to the game, which is what I like about. So like the dragging system in the game has been updated, so you can drag opponents across the ring a
Be back in
lot
a sec.
more easier. Yeah, drag opponents across the ring a little bit more easier. You can set up moves a little bit better that way as well. They've updated some animations to kind of chain some moves together. So there was a video of Rhea Ripley's I guess version of the um Razor's Edge where it kind of like puts them into like kind of like a one knee position, so you can kind of like chain that with like a Shining Wizard or like a drop down stuff. Um, there's been new moves that have been updated. Some entrances have been updated, some haven't been. I think a really cool thing that they added too is that there are like small adjustments you could add to everybody's entrance while they're coming out. So like there's like a pyro button where you can just have pyro going off whenever, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, might have been a feature in like SmackDown versus Raw 2009 or 2010. You could do like heel or babyface taunts while they're walking to the ring. That kind of gets like brought into their entrance as well. Um, certain moves are altered for certain match types. So in the Inferno match, like Rey Mysterio doesn't do the 619 because like if the fire is up on the apron, it doesn't make sense for him to kind of go around it. Um, you can fight on the outside during the Inferno match too, so that's pretty cool as well. And they've also reintroduced ragdoll physics in the game too. I don't know if you've seen that, but like if you're fighting
Yeah,
in
that's what I
like
saw.
elevated areas, so I guess in Hell in a Cell or like in the backstage, if you like do like a running attack and like you are off the stage, there's no like I guess like invisible
Resistance.
force field or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that. There's no resistance. You just fall, which
yeah.
that was very much a huge thing in the GameCube wrestling games, if you've ever played those,
Mm.
where the ragdoll physics were just like completely out of control. So like I love the fact that they kind of brought that in,
It looked funny when I
because
saw.
that
Yeah,
kind of yeah, but it's great. It's really cool. Like it's one of those like all right, cool. Like it's a little bit more free flowing in that sense.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Like this is like the first like 2K25. I did not touch Universe mode at all
Mm.
because it was kind of like the same sandboxy like formula that they've done every year. There wasn't like any like incentive to kind of go through it. Like I
Yeah,
loved it back in like 2011, 2012 era where your DLCs made their debuts in Universe Mode. Like that's how you unlock them. So
yeah,
like a cutscene would happen and they would just show up and be like, "Oh, like this person's here. Like where the hell did they come from?"
yeah,
And that was kind of like how it was. So like there was a lot of really cool things. Like it made me want to actually play through it because there were like Easter eggs and stuff that could actually happen if you did. Versus now it's like you can build a show and like the show will just go as it is and like there could be some consequences, there could not be some consequences. Like initiating heel turns was a lot easier back in the day, and it felt more organic and it flowed a little bit better. So I'm kind of hoping that they've kind of revamped it in a sense where things kind of just flow a little bit better. One of my
yeah,
biggest pet peeves too was like in Universe mode, whenever you started a rivalry, they would essentially just like lock you in with like that superstar the entire way through it. It would just be a repeated match like week into week into week until you got to your pay per view, which I hate because that's not how I would book it. Like I would book things around it involving the superstar. So maybe they'll do a run in, maybe they'll be watching at ringside. Maybe something else will happen, and like like try to like diversify things that way. Um, the island mode looks really cool.
yeah.
They've integrated like cutscenes into the island mode matches as well too, so that looks like it'll be something that's really really cool.
There's like three
Um,
tiers. There's like three factions that you can join. It's like the
yeah,
traditional wrestler, um, like a phenom, like Undertaker-ish area, which turns out to be like Rhea Ripley. Sorry, the traditional is Cody Rhodes. And then what was the
mhm.
third one? The like rebellious person, which was CM
It's
Punk.
just the anarchy that was CM Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. I think it's gonna be fun. I believe I'm gonna play this game more. I feel like I played a lot of the WWE games previously. Not maybe the last year or the year before, when you guys were playing and the ones we were making the clips online. Um, I think it's probably like 2 years ago that I played a lot. Last year just didn't get the opportunity, but this year I am done a lot of the single player games, so that's probably something we will be running together. Hopefully, got to see what Johnny and George are saying too. You already bought it on PlayStation?
Yeah, it's already been pre-ordered. Yeah,
But yeah,
so.
we'll see. We'll see how that goes from there. But yeah, that's everything I got.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Perfect. All right. So we will be back next week, guys, where we'll see the results from Elimination Chamber, see what the final matches are going to be set up for the road to WrestleMania, give our little opinions, feedback, and whatnot. Till then, your boy Eric from EMFC.
This is Derek for the EMFC.
See you guys next week. Peace.